Hello everyone. Good morning. Can anyone confirm audible or not? Can you hear me? So where we stopped in the last session? The last session what we discussed? Hmm? Last session we discussed about why we go for Django, right? If you know about this technology, with this technology, what kind of applications we can develop? That one we discussed. Comparing with the other programming languages, what kind of extra features are there in Django? Okay, like admin panel, some built-in components, security, okay, warm, mvt, okay, there has some features are there. At this moment, just remember this particular terminology. Okay, we not okay discuss about the functionality and everything now at this moment. Okay, just remember that particular terminology, that's it. Okay, now after that we discussed about to prepare, it's like a mvt run. To prepare the templates, you should have some idea on html, so that just okay, I want to give some knowledge, okay, quick introduction about the html. We just started like html, that's it, right? Last class we discussed. Okay, let me ask some questions. Tell me, what is the difference between programming language and markup language? What is the difference? Programming language versus markup language. Okay, my Python is like a programming language, you can say, and my HTML is like a markup language. What is the main difference? Programming language and markup language. What is the main difference? Hmm? Anyone?
In programming language need to compilation.
Yeah, any programming language you can take it. First, you are going to write the source code. After that, we are going to compile the code. This is an important. Why the compilation is required? To check whether you following like rules, guidelines or not. Once you compile the code and then you can run and then you can see the output or not. Okay, this is about any programming language, the procedure to get the output. But if you come to the markup language, tell me, if it is like a html, it's a markup language, tell me. First, you also here written okay source code, but here compilation is required or not required? Compilation is required or not required?
Not required.
Not required. Okay, directly my HTML code is going to run inside the browser or not. Inside the browser, you can see the output. Now, if it is like a Python or Java, where we can see the output, we can see the output where in command prompt at least, right? Command prompt, right? Okay, in your command prompt. But my HTML code, where it is going to run, where it is going to run, where I can see the output of your HTML. My
Browser.
Browser.
code, okay, always in the browser or not. Always in the browser. Always in the browser. Learning HTML and CSS is like very easy. Okay, maximum, okay, one day is enough. Like you people, you can easily learn. Okay, let's go. By using HTML, what we can do? One line answers, tell me. By using HTML and CSS and JavaScript, one line answers. What we can do by using HTML? Come
To
on.
prepare some content which is loaded in the browser.
Prepare some templates, right, which are rendered inside the browser or not. See, if I open the browser, this is my browser now. Okay, you can open the browser. Okay, here you can type anything. You can type like anything. Okay, Django. Okay, now if you come here, if you open this particular url, okay, djangoproject.com, whenever you run this particular domain, you are able to see some content in the browser or not. You are able to see some content, some templates in the browser or not. These templates we can develop by using what? By using HTML or not. These templates we can develop by using HTML. Yes or no? Okay. By using HTML, we can prepare some templates which is rendered or which is running in the browser. What about the CSS? What about CSS?
To make the content look and feel.
Yeah, very simple, right? Here, get started with Django is there. See, the look and feel is like there has some background color and my text color is like a white. Okay, that is like in the center. To make that content is like look and feel. To make that content is like look and feel, then the time you can go with what? CSS or not. Then the time you can go with the CSS. What about JavaScript? Come on, what about JavaScript?
Perform
Perform some
some
action.
actions.
Okay, whenever you click on this button, see, if I click on this button, some action performed or not, some action, it's navigate to some other page or whatever it is. If I click on this particular download version 5.2, some action, it's like performed or not. On the content, if you want to perform some actions, then the time you can go with what? On the content, if you want to perform some actions, then the time you can go with what? Come on, JavaScript.
JavaScript.
JavaScript or not. So here, these three, where it is loaded, these three, where it is loaded, you are performing operations in the browser means in the browser somewhere these three should load or not. Yes or no? Which one? HTML should load in the browser and my CSS should load in the browser and my JavaScript also should load in the browser or not. So my question is, if it is really loaded, where I can see? Can you show me that? You said like, okay, this content loaded in the browser, we can see that particular one. Okay, where I can see that? Okay, very simple. In the browser, do right click. In the browser, do right click. Okay, last option did you find? What is that option? Last option,
Inspect.
Inspect.
inspect. Okay, now whenever I click on the inspector, what you observed, just let me know. What happened?
Developer console
There has
window.
one
Developer
more
console
window
window.
opened or not? See, there has one more window opened. Let me close this one. Okay, and do right click and do inspect. Do inspect. Now see, there has one more window opened or not. There has one more window open. Okay, this particular window, we can say terminology wise, what we can say, this window is like what? This window is like what?
Developer console window.
Developer console window. In this particular window, you can find all these things what I mentioned. HTML you can find, CSS you can find, and JavaScript also you can find it. Okay, but the thing is what HTML and CSS is like a straightforward. We can see it, but the JavaScript is there. Nah, that is kind of minification, minified code only you can see. Okay, if that is also not minified, somebody developed the website, you can simply copy the code and you can create one more website same kind of functionality or not. That's the reason HTML and CSS we can't do anything, but JavaScript we can minify it. Okay, so where I can see the HTML and CSS and JavaScript, that is the question, right? So if you observe here in the developer console window, there is multiple tabs are there. Are you able to see? One, elements, console, source, network, and applications. First five tabs are very very important. First five tabs are like very very important. The first tab is there na, elements tab. This elements tab contains what? Whatever the content, whatever the content is visible to the end user. Okay, end user is nothing but at this moment you, me, all are like end users only. Whatever the content is visible to the end user, that content related HTML code you can find in the which tab? In the elements tab or not? The elements tab. Now, if you see the elements tab, see, observe here. I already told you, each and every programming language has their own rules, guidelines or not. Okay, Python has their own guidelines. You have to write some code like using some keywords, following some indentation, all these things, rules and guidelines or not. Yes or no? In HTML also, okay, there has some rules and guidelines. Okay, there has some person, okay, some other person, okay, somebody is like developed. They are going to provide you some rules and guidelines or not. Okay, what rules means here in HTML, if you want to prepare the content now onwards, you can prepare the content using some elements, using some elements. Okay, which elements means here only you can see header. HTML is one element. It's like a root element. Head is like one element. Okay, the next one is like body is like one element. Now see, top level, high level, any application, anything, any application you can load in the browser. High level, there has three elements you can find. What are those? HTML, header, body. High level, how many elements you can find? Three elements you can find it. One is like HTML, another one is like head, and another one is like body. But our goal is like what? As I said, for this particular content, what kind of code they written, we can see it, I said or not. So for this particular one, what kind of code they written, how we can see, very simple. Right click on it, right click on it, again do inspect, again do inspect. Now see, for this particular, template, this is the code they written or not? This is the code they written. Yes or no? It is which tag? It is which tag? Anchor tag. But the anchor tag is like a normal plain tag only. But the look and feel is something like this, means what applied to that anchor tag? Come on. If you want to make it like look and feel, then that what it is applied? Some CSS applied or not? So which CSS applied? If you want to check, you can come to the right side. In the elements tab, two sections we have. One is like left side section, you can see the HTML elements. Right side section, that elements applied with which kind of CSS properties, those properties you can see here. Now this is my anchor. The right side, if you observe here, these many CSS properties are applied or not. Because of these CSS properties only, my button, my anchor is looks like this. Now see, the CSS properties applied by using class, I will tell you, okay, at the time of CSS. Now if I remove this one, see, the behavior changed or not? Behavior changed or not? Okay, so because of these many CSS properties are applied for this particular element, anchor, that the reason my anchor is looks like this or not? Understood? Okay, why we go for HTML and why we go for CSS? HTML is used for what? To prepare the content which is rendered inside the browser. But that content, if you want to make it look and feel, then the time you have to go with what? You have to go with what? If that content, if you want to make it look and feel, then the time you have to go with what? You have to go with the CSS or not.
CSS.
You have to go with the CSS or not. Agreed? Okay. Okay. The next one is like HTML code and CSS we can see here in the elements tab and style section. What about the next one is like JavaScript code? I said like these three loaded inside the browser. Now, JavaScript code where we can see, in the source tab. Okay, if you observe here, you can see the JavaScript code and everything here. Okay, you can see the JavaScript code and everything. Okay, here the CSS is there and the font size and font family and images. Okay, if any JS is required, those JavaScript code is going to load in this particular section. Which section? In the source section. Got my point? Up there, okay, everyone? Now, see, you can go to any website. Now you can check what they written for that particular content or not. Now see, to prepare this one, what kind of code they written? Do right click and inspect it. Now see, there has PEM Now see, EM is like one tab. This is the way they created like what? They created like what? Your header stuff or not? Your header stuff or not? Understood? Okay. Now come. In HTML, we are going to write the code by using some elements or not? By using some elements. Okay, na? How many elements are there? There are multiple elements are there. No need to remember each and every element. Okay, but there has some elements you should know. Okay, so high level elements I'm going to write. Okay, high level. Tell me. Already we discussed which element is like a root element. HTML is the root element or not? Okay, then HTML contains what? Two more elements. One is like header body. That is common for any browser, any web page. See, for example, you can take this one. Okay, for example, you can take this one. Right click on it, inspect. Right click and inspect. In the elements tab, see high level. What we have? HTML header body, high level. Yes or no? Inside this there are some other elements are there. It's a kind of hierarchy based or not? It's a kind of hierarchy based or not? Yes or no? In the body, if you observe, there is multiple elements are there. Okay, now see, top level HTML. In the HTML directly head and body we have. In the body there has one more element, div is there. In the div there has one more element. Okay, in the body div is there. In the div one more element is there. In that element there has one more element. In that element there has one more element. It's a kind of what? Hierarchy based or not? Okay, in HTML, if you want to write some code, if you want to prepare some templates using HTML, okay, that is possible by using elements. The elements, how it is going to arrange means it's like a hierarchy based. It is going to arrange it or not? Yes or no? There has multiple elements are there. Okay, but frequently used elements, what you know, most of the times we are going to use like a div, image, anchor, like that. Okay, here most of the times in HTML, they may ask, you can face only one question, that is like what you know. Okay, the elements like categorized like how many types? Okay, how many types of elements are there in HTML? That is the question they may ask. How many types of elements are there in HTML? How many types of elements are there in HTML? How many types of elements are there? There has two types of elements are there. There has two types of elements. One is like inline elements, another one is like block level elements. Okay, it is like very simple. Okay, most of the people knows this one. There are two types of elements are there. One is like inline element and another one is like block level element. My question is like, here there are multiple elements are there, na? See, multiple elements, HTML head to body, script to div, anchor, like this multiple elements are there. So my question is, among these elements, which elements are like inline, which elements are like block level? I want to know. Can anyone tell? I have multiple elements are there. Which elements are like inline, which elements are block level? I want to know. Okay, very simple. And one more thing, what you know, if you want to write a Java program, if you want to write a Python program, okay, what you have to do? Java program means you have to install JDK software. Python program means you have to install the Python software at least. But JavaScript or HTML or CSS, if you want to practice, nothing is required. Only browser is enough. Only browser is enough. Okay, let me. Okay, this is my browser. One tab you can open. One tab you can open. Now right click on it and inspect it and inspect it. See this. Okay, now in the elements tab there has multiple elements are there. I don't want all these elements. Right click on it and edit as HTML. Edit as HTML and remove everything. Yeah, I removed everything. Now this is, you can think like it's like an editor. You can write whatever you want. Okay, na? So tell me some elements what you know. Tell me some elements what you know. One div. Okay, such. The next one is like one h1 is there. Okay, the next one is like one span is there. The next one is like one anchor is there. Okay, the next one is like one para is there. Okay, one para is there. Once you written this one, okay, what you have to do, click outside anywhere. Click outside. Whenever you click outside, see the code rendered inside the browser and see the output in the browser or not. And see the output in the browser or not. Yes or no? Simple. Yes, sir. Now, see, one thing you have to observe here. These elements only I written, but extra three elements placed or not? Extra three elements placed or not? Yes or no? Okay, which elements you placed? Okay, which elements you written? Div h1 span a p I written, but extra which elements like placed by the browser HTML head body. Okay, you not written, but still my browser placed means these three elements are like what? Default elements or not? These three elements are like a default elements. If you not place, who placed those elements? My browser is going to place those elements or not? If you not placed, who placed those elements? My browser is going to place those elements or not? Agreed? Got my point? All are okay? So now there has multiple elements over there. Which elements are like, okay, I have 1, 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 3, 8 elements are there. Which elements are like inline, which elements are like block level? I want to check. Very simple. Okay, see. As I said, HTML is like hierarchy based, right? Now see, top level HTML. In the HTML, head and body is there. In the body, okay, remaining elements are there. In this remaining elements, like this hierarchy based approach, right? So I'm going to put the cursor. Just tell me the height and width of that particular element. Okay. Now I'm going to put the cursor on my body. What is my height and width of my body? Anyone? Are you able to see the tooltip? In this particular place, you can see the tooltip or not? What it contains? 1264 into 1264 into. Are you able to see that? Are you able to see the tooltip? Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? You are able to see the tooltip, right? Yes. Okay. Now, if you see the tooltip, there has 1264 and 149. 1264 is what width. 149 is like a height. Height I don't want. Width you can remember. What is the width? 1264 is the width. Okay, let me write in the body 1264 is the width. Okay, let's go. Now, in the body div is there, na? Put the cursor on my div. What is my width? My div width also what? 1264. My div width also 1264. Like that, remaining elements. Dhoni width is how much? 1264. My H1 also 1264. The next one is like span is there. How much width? 36.45. Okay, my span is 36.45. Okay, done. Now remaining also there. Okay, you can define it now itself. Body is the parent. These all are like inside the body. Now tell me, these are like a children's to my body or not? My question is, which children take parent width? Which children take the parent width? Equal to parent width, which children taken? Which children taken like equal to parent width? Come on, which children's? Div and H1. Okay, so you can define the element which take the parent equal width, the element which takes the parent width as its own width. That kind of elements we can say like a block level elements. The element which take the parent width as its own width, that kind of elements we can say like what? Block level elements. What about spanner? Is it take the parent width? Okay, exactly content width. See, Kohli, 5 letters are there. Exactly 5 letters width on it's taken or not. So the element which take the content width as its own width, that kind of elements we can say like what? The element which take the content width as its own width, that kind of elements what we can say? Inline elements or not? That kind of elements we can say like inline elements or not. Understood everyone? Okay. Okay, what is block level element and what is inline element? The element which takes the parent width as its own width, that kind of elements we can say like a block level. The element which take only content width as its own width, that kind of elements we can say like a inline. Now tell me div, it takes the parent width, block level. H1, it takes the parent width, block level. Span, it takes the content width, inline. Anchor, it takes the content width, inline. Para, it takes the parent width, it's like a block level element or not? It's like a block level element or not? So let's go to uijavakit.com. Okay, in this website, let's go to html. Can you complete first three first three topics? Introduction, what is inline and what is block level element? Okay, what is an attribute? Okay, attribute also you can easily understand. Okay, you can. So this week we are going to take like 40 to 40 minute sessions only, because there are some other people also want to join. Okay, I need to take the backup sessions. That's the reason. Okay, whenever the Django is going to start, we are going to take like, okay, full-fledged session like 1 hour. Okay, more than 1 hour also sometimes. Okay, up to you. Okay, see, HTML is required. HTML is like a required for web framework Django. HTML and CSS is required. Just learn. Okay. Any questions, anyone? Let me share you this website in the group. Yeah, I shared. Just complete HTML, introduction, inline block level elements, and attributes. Okay. Okay, then we'll continue on this tomorrow session. Tomorrow you can join as usual. Okay, with the same link. Okay, then thank you guys. Thanks for joining. Okay, you can do one more thing. Okay, go to any website, your favorite website. Check what they written. Now see, my favorite website is like Zoom, for example. To this particular one, what kind of code they written for the Zoom? Right click, inspect it. Okay, there has one image they written for this particular one. Like that, go to your favorite website and check what kind of code they written. What kind of code they written. Why? Because the way of learning of HTML is like this only. Okay, it's not like, okay, this is the element or this is the purpose. Okay, don't learn like that. Okay, practical learning is important. Okay, okay, then thank you guys. Bye.